All right, we're back. Real Kyper and Bourne show. Season 5. The Kypreos, Justin Bourne. Our Sammy McKee is in. Jake the Snake Schultz. Derek Brandeo. We are live.
Yeah.
On SPORTSNET 360, SPORTSNET 650 in Vancouver, SPORTSNET 960 in Calgary, and streaming on SPORTSNET. If you missed our show, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Okay. I'm talking to you now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Sammy.
Yep. I share your concern for him, someone we care about dearly.
And on Friday, we all came to the conclusion that this thing was going to wrap up on the weekend, and we're going to go through whatever we need to go through on Monday, and then our show's going to come back at 4 to 6 Eastern, back in its regular slot. The baseball guys, Blair and Barker, fabulous job. And by the way,
kudos to them.
No, but fabulous job from everybody, from Dan to Buck to Hazel to
Absolutely.
Jamie Campbell to Caleb to
coverage.
all of them, Joe.
Wow.
Fantastic job. And me and you, we're outside for about 10 minutes. Kevin Barker's there. And we went through Game 7.
That was honestly one of the cooler sports experiences for me, getting to have someone like him
fantastic.
talk you through.
I'm telling you, if we could have captured that 10 minutes between me, you, and Kevin on Game 7, it would have been some riveting, fascinating stuff, because I learned so much in 10 minutes about Game 7 that I didn't necessarily know before.
And don't worry, they'll take it to air for everyone at Blair and Barker. We're not saying that.
They're coming up next.
Yep.
So you're going to just go right back into it and get all the good stuff from Barks. But here's the part that worried me.
Mm-hmm.
Our Sammy's like 7 feet away from us and did not participate in one word.
No.
Okay? Not one word.
No.
So, and now here we are. This is the longest he's ever gone without piping up at all, right? And I'm worried. So,
what do you want me to say?
No, hold on. We built a show up, right? Like we do. We have some discussions about at least, what we think we might be doing. And I said, yeah, we'll give it some room to breathe a little bit. We've gone 2 weeks basically talking about this team a little bit. We got to wrap it up a little bit for our show. And Sammy sends us in our chat, you're going to torture me.
Well, you are. You're torturing him right now. It's torture for him.
I'm not trying to torture him.
I know.
I'm just trying to stay a little consistent on how passionate we've been the last couple of weeks watching another sport. Mm-hmm. By the way, kind of play out a little bit like how we think hockey teams should play out.
There's a lot of lessons, a lot of overlap.
Right? A lot of overlap. So I don't want to torture him, but look at him right now. Just look at him with the hood up.
First time he smiled today.
Like, what is going on? Like, with the hood up now. Are you okay? First of all, are you okay?
I am the furthest thing from okay. I have had the worst weekend in my sports life by far. Didn't go to Game 6. Lucky enough to go to Game 7. The overwhelming, I've been trying to think about for 2 days because I knew this was coming, and I was trying to say what I was going to potentially say.
Yeah.
And I think the overwhelming thing is that, when the Leafs crash out and I go on Leafs Talk and I come on here with you guys, you get to hide the pain with extreme anger at a core that's never got it done.
Right.
Or there's these moments where you're like, how could they not come through? How could they not come through? And you guard your sadness with anger.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have the anger emotion to guard the sadness. That is
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's
don't
well
think
said.
anybody I think anger would be a wasted emotion.
But I
And
wish,
unjustified.
but I wish that I could have it. Like I wish that I could, get mad at somebody for something. Like, all the principles that apparently have been blamed, because my phone's been off for most of the last couple days, and I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine reruns in bed, pretending that didn't happen. Still haven't seen the home run from Rojas.
It's
Still
Allie's out of town too, so he's got no.
I've been home
supervision.
alone, not speaking, not talking. Went outside twice. I haven't talked about this. This is the first I've spoken about this to anyone, and I just I know what people are blaming. It's IKF, not a big enough lead. Varsho, how do you not get a ball to the infield? Ernie Clement, Andy, all these things. I understand it, but this team was last place in April, and they went all the way to Game 7, extra innings of the World Series. And what people are saying, it's the best World Series in the history of the sport. Blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I want to be mad to guard the sadness, but I'm not mad.
Yeah, see, I don't
there is no mad.
I don't get mad.
If there's listen, people deal with these things in different ways, which I totally understand and I totally get. But if your first emotion is anger, that's fine by me. You can have those angers and you can have those feelings, but that shouldn't be what you're feeling. You should be feeling extreme sadness. And people, Hoffman, I knew Hoffman was going to blow it. Hoffman was lights out for the entire playoffs. People forget 2 weeks ago when he went 2 innings in Game 6 against the Mariners, and when closed it out in Game 7, he was nails for the entire playoffs. He gave up a home run to a 9-hitter, hung a slide. People want to be mad at him. Oh, they shouldn't have brought him in. No, they shouldn't have brought in the $11 million closer to finish off the World Series. They shouldn't have done that. It's baseball, and there's just nothing more painful than baseball. And I can't believe it didn't end with them winning. I haven't got past that part.
That's the part that you're sad for those guys.
That's it.
And
I'm crushed for them.
I found myself Sunday. I golfed, but
It was depressing.
You golfed.
I golfed Sunday.
Oh,
listen, golf's very much. I'm with my buddy Elvis Mandela.
Oh my God, you
Nick
guys making fun of me? You and Elvis?
No. But it's still very much you're in your own thoughts. You walk up to your ball. So it never left me. And then you're in the car by yourself, and then you hear this kind of sad song, and it's now it's even worse, right?
I would have played golf if I could have on Sunday, but I walked from the Rogers Center to Etobicoke after the game, so
It's 2 hours.
I didn't have my hip didn't have it after that.
I've lived being on the other side of a Game 7, and it's just that's such a fine line between how it can change your life or the way you feel about yourself or you feel with your group, right? And I was gutted for all these guys who unfortunately had the greatest experience with the greatest guys, and we know how close they are and what they said about each other, and that part even hurts even more, that when you look at each other, the most common denominator that you have is that feeling of losing.
And it's just so hard to think about it all with not imagining the scenario where, IKF's foot is 2 inches farther along and it's safe and we're all doing the celebration thing. It's just how close it was makes it so much more painful.
Yeah.
My 9-year-old son was ruined. My wife was in tears. But, all I can take away from this group is how wonderful this was, how many great memories that team gave us. But also I was thinking about this from a hockey perspective and the Leafs perspective. Think about the next generation of fans has had their run here, has had this moment where now my son wants to stay in baseball and we are going to take him out of it. And my wife wants to get a jersey, and Jays fans there's this growth in it. God, Leafs fans haven't had that. The next generation hasn't happened for them like this.
I know, but don't tell that to the guys that lost, because
I know. I know. I'm talking about fans here.
Yeah, I know.
But for those guys, it's different. I know.
I grew up a Jays fan. This experience, the last 2 weeks, a month, I turned into a baseball fan. there are times in June or July, you're in the fourth inning, like, you're not paying attention. But this game, I discovered what a fine line it is between winning and losing. Like even a count, a simple thing is a pitch count, and how after every pitch, it's as if you feel like your collar getting tighter and tighter on every pitch. Like I'm sitting there Saturday night and I'm like, please a ball, just please a ball, throw a ball,
It is
walk
funny.
them, walk them.
The game will start, and it's suddenly 2-0 count to Ohtani to start the game, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
we're ruined. He's going to see a strike.
And it's like, it's incredible on how truly this is a game of inches, and we know the play at the plate for sure, and the leadoff, and people want to dissect that all. But, like, I get why they say it's so romantic. The sport is just so, like, it'll break your heart. I get it
Now you're
now.
hanging on every pitch there.
I totally get it. Unlike hockey a little bit, there's ways through the neutral zone that you can stay calm for a little bit, but pitch to pitch, it's almost impossible.
Well, here's
to stay calm.
Let me explain it to you better. There is literally half the game, but where nothing but bad things can happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're sitting there for 15, 20 minutes at a time, hoping for bad things not to happen after potentially nothing good happened for your team.
Totally.
To feel, here we go, to feel what it felt like in Game 7 when Bo Bichette hit that bomb off Shohei Ohtani, and to have the knowing that they didn't win. Like, bless my TikTok algorithm, it knows I don't want this.
Yeah.
Like, it's feeding me everything but this, which is God bless algorithms. But I haven't seen a highlight of it. I haven't seen a highlight of one thing.
He
But
hit
like,
442.
I witnessed it live. I saw it fly. Like, that was supposed to be the moment. That was supposed to be the moment and they get in the top of the eighth or bottom of the eighth inning, they get Ernie Clement to second base on a leadoff double, and they can't get him home. And that for me is where the Toronto Blue Jays lost the game. You have to get that run home.
I also learned that I feel way better with a 3-0 hockey lead than I do a 3-0 baseball lead.
God, yeah.
It's like, it's not even close.
Well, yeah,
not even
obviously.
close.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, like, I don't really know how much more I can say, but it was an incredible run, and it was a special group. I'm really, really upset for them that they didn't get to finish it off.
So,
It would have been fun for years to go back and look at what they did. Yankees.
I mentioned
Mariners, Dodgers,
the terrific job our crew did at Sportsnet covering this thing from beginning to end. Caleb went on very emotional and said on Sportsnet that the baseball gods got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love that quote because he's
Do
right.
you believe that?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
He does terrific work. I just don't have the opinion that I believe that, just in terms of, I'll get my poppy here.
Did it fall? Here's what I'll say. I mean, they outscored them by a bunch of runs. They, it just
Pretty much every metric where they were the better team over the series.
far better team. And listen, our boy Caleb's taking a beating online, and I've seen a ton of people making fun of him, but I probably would have said something similar in the moment. It's really hard to go on as a team broadcaster who, played for the Jays.
Emotion, for sure. I get where he's coming from, and I get it, but I think this is the true beauty of sport is that, like, it comes down to certain things, and there's such a fine line between winning and losing, and I think we just saw that. And people are saying that the Dodgers are ruining baseball.
I don't agree with that.
And I don't agree with that either. Like, you cannot buy, even with $1 billion, you can't buy what they have.
Well, you can buy Yamamoto.
You can buy talent, Sam,
Yeah.
but what you can't buy is a group of guys that come together. And we were so focused on the Jays of being this true team that loves each other and watches backs. I don't think we paid enough attention to the Dodgers have that too. They have that too. Okay. And they were resilient and they refused to die. They had every reason to die. The Jays had it and they refused to die. That's not the hockey. That's not the golf. Can I get the sport right? That's not the baseball gods getting it wrong. When a team champions refuse to die.
Okay.
You're just, you're down to millimeters here. And I can't hold up the Dodgers as something better or brighter than what the Jays were after that series, particularly.
Well, they didn't get the guy. They had base runners. They didn't get them in. Now we go into the details and what a hanging. Okay, Trey, I love him, but they squeezed every last drop out of him, and then he goes up there and he's probably a little overwhelmed, and he throws up a beach ball to Muncy. But that was a batting practice pitch.
Yeah, he
crushed it.
He also got out of the 6th inning, and he earned that spot.
Buddy, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you that's you can only squeeze so much.
It's a lot to ask.
I'm more in the agreement that maybe the Jays helped put it on a platter for them to take it, but they still took it.
Yeah,
right.
Listen,
and you still have to execute to take it.
They started, I don't think anyone has come in and said the Dodgers were a bad team. I do think that everyone's making the point that over the course of this playoff run of that series, head-to-head, the Blue Jays were the better team. I know they didn't get that final game. They lose by 1 in the 18th inning. They lose by 1 in the 11th inning. They beat the brakes off them 3 times.
They didn't make the pitches that they needed to at the right time. The base running was subpar, and you left runners in scoring position. I'm not sure how much.
But this is why
Game
it hurts
7
so much that by a toe we got to come in here and argue about whether they deserved it or we deserved it. If you think the Dodgers deserved it.
I know.
It's like, okay,
yeah,
what's
it's a
your
philosophy
point?
difference.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
And there's also there's the feel-good vibe that people have had throughout this whole thing where it's like people connected with this team on a personal level. George Springer battling through injury to stay in games, coming up with big hits. Bo Bichette with the knee surgery, can't even run the bases, hits a 3-run dinger. You got guys getting pegged by pitches left and right, and they kept coming up.
You fell in love with it.
And that's absolutely. And that's why it had this vibe of like a movie where it's like it was destined to be. And the fact that it wasn't, I think, was just crushing. Absolutely devastating. McKee's not alone in feeling the way he's feeling here.
I have to say that if there's one thing, the amount of people over the past 48 hours, well, whenever the game ended till now, however many hours that is, that have reached out to me and said, hey, man, love you, thinking about you, has been completely overwhelming. Like, truly. And it's like, I'm just a fan of a baseball team. Like, my dog didn't die. Like, but like the fact that people care enough to reach out to me and say, hey, like, I love you. I'm going through the same thing as you are. It feels pathetic to be as sad as I am right now. I can't. I guess that's why people, kind of identify with what I say, because I truly care and I know there's a lot of people that are probably looking to me to come on here and, push back against Kyper being like, oh, the Dodgers earned it by hitting 209 in the World Series and getting lucky on 2 plays. Like, I'm sure they want me to push back, but I just can't. Like, Andy Paul has, if there's one thing that will haunt me until the day I die is, sure, IKF maybe, you should have got a bigger secondary lead. They don't want to get doubled off at third base. Varsho hits hard line drives all over the place. They were coached to not go off first.
Yes.
I understand that.
Yeah. And let's make that clear. That's what you're told.
You don't
go against a third base coach who wants you to.
If you want to blame IKF, the 26th man on this roster, and you think that's the reason they lost the World Series, be my guest. That won't be the thing that haunts me. Although you could have head for a slide, maybe mixing a slide. It's the Ernie Clement ball that was
warning track.
Absolutely
running back
roasted.
You just felt like the game was over as that guy's running back to the wall.
Well, off the bat, the sound and the look, and Pages comes out of nowhere. That, to me, will be the one that will always haunt me, because it's been Ernie Clement who's been the story of this postseason. Another unbelievable game in Game 7. And, he has that picture of him sliding home that would have been on every T-shirt across the country for the rest of our lives. And you had this chance. It was the first pitch, and he roasted it. It's like, that is the one that'll keep me up at night. Not, Kirky being up there, getting his bat sawed off. Like, what? And Vladdy, too, eh? Right down to the last inning of the last game. Hits a double off Yamamoto to start that inning. They can't cash him in.
Yeah.
They've been money all year long with runners in scoring position. And when it mattered the most, it dried up. Varsho killed them in those two games.
Tough 6 and 7.
He absolutely
I'm
killed them.
telling you, it's painful to listen to Hoffman too talk about not being he's the reason why they're not
I
wearing.
read the quote. I didn't see it or hear
championship rings, or
What did he say?
He just says
He said they cost everyone in here a ring.
Yeah, which is just
one pitching in baseball. You're talking about a placement of
gut
6
wrenching,
inches different from where it should be, and it's
gut wrenching.
Yeah, I don't even want to bring up.
Anyways,
did you want to play stuff?
We promise.
Thank God.
We promise. We get to hockey. We
Like,
got
listen.
John-Michael Liles coming up.
You were gonna make. Okay, this is what makes me mad.
What's that?
You were potentially gonna make me pour over the tape of my boy Ernie Clement crying.
I loved it.
Yeah, we didn't. We're even
loved
gonna
it.
play it. Like I'm not listening to it.
I
You
just love it because it's not baseball, hockey per se, or anything else. It's just this is how you're supposed to be. This is how you win championships. If not this year, hopefully next year for the Jays. But this is what people want to see and feel. And there's a lot of teams that don't get it right. And I just think it's a wonderful reminder to all of us. This is the difference between winning and losing championships, or at least getting yourself in a position to come as close as they did.
the care.
The care.
I got to tell you, this is where I'm going to get like my, how I get, you guys know, everybody listen, you know how I get.
Yeah.
This felt like a 1 in a million season, and they could be under 500 next year. Bo may be gone, Scherzer may be gone, probably gone, Bassett, Bieber.
When you don't win, make changes. But I'm not saying which ones.
Varshow's my first choice.
You change. You make a few changes here.
Varshow's my first choice. There's certain things that you can't unsee, and I gotta find that stat. Let me quickly look it up. But I think he was
pretty good in the field, man.
Yeah, he made a great catch.
He
made a great catch in that game. But when it came down to
slam too, didn't he earlier?
Was that Barger? The same game.
Barger.
He had a home run though. Same game.
Yeah, same game home run.
He pretty good ball player.
I understand he's a good ball player.
Okay, so one more thought before we go to break here is that Saturday night I was at the game as well.
You were, right?
Yeah, I was in section 119. The LA Dodgers family or friend.
Oh my God,
they were next to me.
Nightmare.
And it was a nightmare. No, and they were. The nightmare wasn't that they were obnoxious.
They had
or
nothing to cheer all game, basically. They were behind until the 11th.
Just watching them at the end celebrate was like, and I loved my section because I was up at the top. So there's the standing room fans, which I all like. They became like family. You know, you're just high fiving, hugging everybody, and it's like it was an unbelievable experience. I just want to throw one more thing in. I now get why people spend $10,000 for a ticket or $5,000, even if you don't quite have it. I get it now.
That experience was that special.
That experience, I've never done it before. I've played in a Game 7, but I've never been in that situation where it's like, if you offered me a trip somewhere with free hotel and meals, and maybe a couple of rounds of golf, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't trade it in for being there Saturday night.
Yeah, agreed.
I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I would now.
Yeah, now you would.
having no, but like
you're not allowed to pick after.
Well,
you pick before.
Here's
the game.
Here's what I will say. We talk a lot about Game 7. Game 6 was horrifying too. So, it's not like it was a one-night affair.
No. I said to you guys out there, that was actually the least fun I've ever had watching a sport game.
That ball lodging is a 1 in a million chance that happens. I've never seen it happen before. That baseball game, second and third, nobody out with a chance to win the World Series, and the game was over in 3 swings. That is as painful as you can ever imagine for a Game 6. And I got to tell you, it's like I was just hoping that you'd be like, no, it's not Toronto sports. It's not. This team is not Toronto sports. And it's the same.
One more thing before we go to break.
I got the Varsho stat. In Game 6 and 7, he was combined 0 for 9 with 13 left on base.
Yeah.
That's the
hurts.
difference.
Okay. One more thing, hockey related. Saturday night, in Edmonton.
Congrats to Easton Cowan for his first NHL goal.
Yeah, we got a Leaf hour there. Save it, pal. They showed the baseball game live with sound up
During
during
the Oilers game.
the game.
That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm
Unacceptable.
like, somebody said that to me, and I'm like, not a chance they would do that.
It's true. It's true. And Connor, I learned about it from the McDavid quotes after the game.
How can you do that?
Do we have McDavid after
I
the
actually
game?
thought of that too in terms of like rights and like if you.
Do we have it?
No, we don't have it.
Okay.
The quote from McDavid is like, I found myself sitting on the bench watching the game. And when I was on the ice, I found myself listening to the crowd to see what was going on. Right? Like, it's this big spot and you're on the ice. You're like, did they get a hit?
I can't think of a bigger distraction ever in a hockey game. Like, there's fights going on while you're still playing. There's beer pouring on you during a game. I've had mustard thrown at me in those little packages. Like, but I cannot believe that they would do that. Like,
They
first
turned it
of all,
off for the third period, they said. They turned it off for the third.
that's even more
That's
dangerous.
way worse.
That's
Just
way worse.
Finish it off. If
You
you're going to
give
leave
it
it
to
up
them.
there, yeah.
Because now everyone's like, what's going on?
I'm going to the lobby.
So 9/11, the Rangers, after 9/11, they had an exhibition game in Philly, and the Philly building decides to show President Bush at the time up live during the game, right?
Really?
To talk about, what the next plan of the United States is.
You were in this game?
No, I was not in this game, but I know this story.
Yeah.
And then they shut it off, and people went ballistic, and they actually put it back on, and then they canceled the exhibition game.
Come on. Talk about falling all over your shoes.
It was nuts.
That's a mess.
It was nuts. But why don't you just tell people if you're going to drive a car and text, be careful? It's like, why would you send your players out there with such a big distraction? I found it almost like a.
That's interesting. You think of a safety thing for the
a
players.
A safety thing where you're focused, you're not focused, you get hit, there's a collision, a goalie looks up for a split second because it's maybe one of the greatest sporting event in our history going on. It's like, and then play-by-play, Jack
Michaels, yeah.
Hey, we think we might have that. Maybe we don't.
Do we
have that, Jake, or no? We do. We do.
Okay, let's put just Jack Michaels calling the game.
Off under duress. Mangiapane rides him into the boards. Henry creates a drive back behind. The Blue Jays have just won the World Series. Or no, they're calling them out at home. Forced out.
The Blue Jays.
We gotta
The Blue Jays just won the World Series. And you know what? I feel so bad for Jack.
Can we go?
No.
Come on, Cap.
No.
I've been here for 26 minutes, man. Let's go.
I feel horrible. I feel horrible for Jack because he was in a position now to comment on
that
something.
pop. You have to comment
and
on the
he's
pop.
trying to call a game, and he's trying to focus on what's going on at the Jays game and try to match it up. And it was wrong. And, it's like, what do we do to him?
They tried to give everyone what they wanted, right? Everyone wanted the Jays game. Everyone wanted the Oilers game. They tried to give them what they wanted.
Let's go.
Catch your breath, everybody. I promise you more hockey talk.
I promise you hockey talk.
On the
not
Real
more, but
Kyper
some
and
hockey
Bourne
talk.
show after these words. Kelsey. Don't mind us. We're just talking
Yeah,
amongst ourselves
I
here.
ended up in a box for the first time in my life at the Rogers Center for Game 7 of the World Series. That was interesting.
Saw Drake.
Yeah, I did see Drake.
A reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365, Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, John-Michael Liles.
Hopefully he's there. Yes, thank
Yeah,
God.
right.
No more Jays, thank God.
John,
Jays talk's over.
Jays talk. Baseball talk is over, buddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I watched that Game 7, and that was heartbreaking. I was with Darren Helm actually the next day, and we were talking about it. And I said, can you imagine being on the Leafs team that lost to Boston after being up 4-1 with 10 minutes left? Like, that might be worse. And I experienced that one. So I feel for the Jays, and just Canadian baseball fans. I was rooting for him, and I'm not a Jays fan, and I was still rooting for him.
Well, that's good to hear. It was certainly heartbreak up here. I'm actually really glad to get to talk to you. Turn the page. Talk about a team that's winning a little bit here. The Colorado Avalanche off to a good start this year. Could you just sort of give us a check-in on the Avs? Where are things? How have they got to the top of the standings in the Central?
Well, I think, going into training camp, there was a huge focus on getting out of the gates a lot better than they did last year. They didn't get over 500 until I believe it was November 13th last year. So they've done a good job of getting out of the gates well. Solid goaltending. Mackenzie Blackwood just played his first game of the year in San Jose the other night, but Scott Wedgwood has been playing really well. And they've been getting contributions up and down the lineup. It feels like there's a really solid depth on this team, and that's forward and D. Brent Burns has been fantastic addition on the back end. And, having healthy Gabe Landeskog in the lineup has made a huge difference. And it's noticeable. I would say, looking at their kind of record and the games they've played thus far, there haven't been any games where we sit there as analysts and announcers going, wow, that was a stinker. They've had a period here or there, but it feels like they've been in pretty much every game, had an opportunity to win every game. And it shows in the standings.
You're watching and listening to John-Michael Liles, former Avs, Leaf, Hurricane, Bruins, Avalanche. Am I missing anybody, John?
That's that pretty much nailed it, I think. Yeah.
Just you mentioned Brent Burns and what you've been able to see, the longevity, the consistency. What makes him still an effective guy at this age?
Well, I think, watching him for so long and playing against him for a long time as well. I mean, the offensive ability, his, the way that he's able to get shots through to the net pretty much every time. Very rarely does he have them blocked. But for me, just the smarts, the way that he protects the puck, he moves it so efficiently, whether it's in the offensive zone or coming out of the D zone. And it's just, it wasn't something that I necessarily keyed in on when he signed here, but it's been just, front and center, pretty much every game. And the way, I mean, listen, you're 40 years old, you've been in the league for played 1,500 games. You have to take care of your body in order to be doing it that long and still doing it effectively. So the way that he just, he approaches each and every day, and we've had him, on the set and just talking with him in interviews and whatnot. He loves coming to the rink every day and just, having that guy back there, 40 years old. I'm not saying it's Ray Bourque-esque, but you have somebody that's been in the game for a long, long time. He hasn't won a Stanley Cup, and he has an opportunity with a really good team here in Colorado. I would say that, it gives guys a little bit of an extra motivation coming to the rink each and every day and seeing how he approaches the game on a daily basis.
So when going through this team and sort of doing a little prep to chat with you today, looking at their record after regulation, we're talking about all the talent. They've lost to Utah, New Jersey, San Jose in 3-on-3. They've lost a couple of shootouts. What is their deal? Why can't they get that extra point?
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, listen, the shootout record over the last few years, it hasn't been great. And I look at it, you've got so much talent there. For whatever reason, Nathan MacKinnon, when he has a guy on his back, seems to score like 9 out of 10 times. But when Nathan MacKinnon has, in a shootout, he's got time and space. It hasn't clicked. And I mean, when he's going, 110 miles an hour, that's where he's most effective. So I'm not saying this is all Nathan MacKinnon. It's just weird how it plays out in a shootout. And as far as overtime, it comes down, especially during 3-on-3, it comes down just to the littlest details. And if you're a half step behind a guy and, you've got an opportunity, call it offensively, and you miss the net, or there's a rebound and all of a sudden it kicks back out. The Avs they've gotten beat on a couple 2-on-1s. There was one bad bounce in Jersey. Makar passes it up to Natchez. Natchez tries to grab it with his glove because it was, in the air, and all of a sudden it hits off his glove. Kicks back to the Jersey player who feeds Jack Hughes in front for his second opportunity, and call it 10 seconds. You give Jack Hughes 2 opportunities in front of the net in 10 seconds. He's probably going to bury one of those. So it just, some weird stuff. I know they've been experimenting a little bit, trying to, see if they can dial in, the forward combinations with certain D combinations. So it's definitely interesting this many games into this season and to have this many losses past regulation with the talent that they have.
John, we know that Gabriel Landeskog's comeback is something we seldom see in a career, and that alone is a huge accomplishment. But he's still looking for his first goal.
Yeah,
there's some nights that he's playing 12 minutes, which is a far cry from earlier in his career when he often led the team in ice time and that could easily average 20 minutes a game. Is this just the way it's going to be moving forward for this guy? And is it more just to continue to kind of protect him a little bit? Is there ever a chance that we can see that guy that prior to the major injury?
Well, what I would say, and we've talked about it on our broadcast, is that there definitely has to be patience, right? I mean, you're out of the game for 3 years. You come back in the playoffs last year, but we all know how playoff hockey is, especially when you've been out that long. You're running on pure adrenaline at that point, in my mind. And the way that he was in the playoffs and the way that line was and the effectiveness, it's different than stepping into game 1 of the regular season. And now you've gone through a proper training camp and you feel like you're right there. You're not running on that adrenaline when you're going every other day with the travel. And so to me, it's, now you're seeing that kind of 3 years away from the game a little bit. And my thing is, okay, like there's got to be patience involved at this point. Give him time to really get himself back up to speed for that grind of a season. And we've definitely seen flashes of it thus far. You mentioned no goal. I mean, he scored a goal in Utah on the road that would have put the Avs up 2-0 that ended up getting called back. It was a bit controversial. They're saying Nichushkin's forechecking caused Genther to stick handle it back into his own end, which then, resulted in the offside. We talked about it for it seemed like, the next week straight. But it would have been nice to have him on the board with that one, because it would have been a critical goal on the road in a hard fought game at the time. And Utah ends up flipping the tables and really, dominating, I would say, a good portion of the remainder of that game. So, for me, I see Landy and I see what he's doing. They moved him on a line with Jack Drury and Victor Olofsson, kind of off of that Nelson Nichushkin line. And so I think that probably, goes to some of the, the 12 minutes versus the 18, 19 minutes that he was playing prior to the injury, sometimes 20 minutes. And then, also they've been experimenting with some of the power play units. That top power play unit with Makar and McKinnon a lot of times can play, a minute 30, a minute 40. So, with Landy being on the second unit, you're only seeing 15 or 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds of a power play. So I think there's some reasoning behind why he's only playing, 12 to 15 minutes at the time, right now. But it wouldn't shock me if that continues to increase as he battles through that, the cobwebs of having 3 years off and essentially just rehabbing for 3 years to try to get back to where he is right now.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. First off, well, 2 things. Number one, that hat is awesome. That Avs alumni rope hat is really fantastic. The gear is wonderful, right? They got the Nordiques thirds the other day. The Avs got great gear these days.
Yes.
But the question for you is about Marty Necas. So the Avs end up with Martin Necas. He signs this nice contract. Your thoughts on ending up with Necas and that contract? I guess in the contrast of the Rantanen situation a year or 2 ago, I know that it's there, right? Like that's everyone is like
everybody still wants to talk about it.
Well, it's just how does it feel better now that you have a guy that can run with McKinnon and score and all that locked up for an 8-year deal?
Yeah. Yes, it does. And what I would say is you go back to the Rantanen stuff. What did happen? What didn't happen? I mean, it's a long time ago. there's some PTSD involved from the Rantanen situation when you go back to it, right? So now all of a sudden you have Natchez coming in. He's due for an extension. It wasn't signed in the summer. Bam, it gets signed. So now all of a sudden I think people are feeling good. He scored in back-to-back games since signing the extension. He's a guy that now that he's had some time with McKinnon, there's a definite chemistry there. Anybody would love to have Mikko Rantanen on their team, but in the end, you have Cale Makar and you have Nathan McKinnon. They're always going to be your top two.
Yep.
And so that was how it was going to be with the Avs. The Avs are always going to have McKinnon and Makar. That's your top two. Who's going to be the third? In the end, there was contract negotiations. Whatever happened behind the scenes happened. But, Mikko ended up in Dallas because of that. And realistically, the Avs have always been focused on the Makar extension, right? Which is going to be coming up in the summer. And Cale Makar can push a number if Cale wants to push a number. And,
you think he'll want to?
And that's,
No. Better question. John, better question. Are people nervous already?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't see it being an issue. Cale loves being here. The Avs love him. First of all, he's an unbelievable player, but second of all, he is an unreal person too. Right. And he's a great teammate, and he's the guy that you want, on your back.
So all you're saying is big discount coming. Big discount. He loves it here. Big discount.
Oh my gosh. I'm saying Cale could pretty much determine what Cale makes.
Yeah.
Right. And if Cale wants to push a number, I don't know that the Avs are going to, they could, but I don't see the Avs, backing away from any number. And if Cale wants to say, hey, I want to win and I can take this, I'm sure the Avs would be pumped with that as well. So I don't see Cale being anywhere else other than a Colorado Avalanche. I just think that he's too valuable. What he does, not just offensively, but defensively, in the way that he can dictate a game from the back end. And when you put that with Nathan McKinnon, and you put that with Marty Natchez, and you've got, Nelson and Nichushkin and Landeskog, like their top six is the best it's looked in the last, call it 5 years since they won the Cup. And I would say the forward depth is as good as it's been as well. It's just, top to bottom, the goaltending from where it was a year ago, you've got two completely new goaltenders that have been fantastic since coming to Colorado. So I think there's just a lot to like, and I don't see, the Cale Makar extension being an issue, when it comes around, after the season's over.
John, great stuff, man, as always, on our show. One quick question here. What kind of alumni player are you? Because I stink.
Oh, man. I don't know. I wish I could say.
You quarterbacking out there?
I'm still good offensively, but I can still skate, is what I'll say.
There you go.
He's good.
Young legs. Appreciate it, pal. Thanks for doing this.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm like I step on the ice and I'm like, did you really play professional in the NHL?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't played a game in 5 years, so we'll see Friday.
Both of these conversations are just such crap. You guys are both going to step out there. You're going to be hard crossovers,
now we're
snapping
Friday.
it around.
Friday.
Chase money.
Friday, Easter Seals, Eric Lindros tournament.
Yep.
You want to flash it up on the board?
We'll do it during the Toronto hour. We'll do it during the Leafs hour.
Well, let's do it twice.
Okay.
I'll tell you why I want to do it twice.
Yeah.
Because our fundraising, we're in last place, basically. We need help.
Support our show so we get to do it every year.
Yes. Yeah, if you can, even
just like the Jays next year.
A quarter, 50
wow.
cents,
Oh,
whatever you got. Just get us out of the basement, please.
Can I be honest?
We're in shoulder pads.
But I haven't worn shoulder pads since my last game of the year.
Good to hear.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Or a neck guard too. I feel better.
Feel better.
How do you feel better?
You talked it out.
Buddy,
I feel a lot better.
I'm here for you.
I said to Sam,
Okay,
it's too
we're
bad Al
here
was not there
for
that he
you.
couldn't have talked it out before doing it on air.
I talked to her.
Yeah.
We FaceTime multiple
Right.
times, but she FaceTimed me after I was walking when I did my marathon home.
2-hour walk.
She FaceTimed me, and I picked it up, and she was bawling her eyes out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Why did you FaceTime?"
This isn't the time. This isn't
This is
helpful.
off.
You also walked home, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, did you? I don't know if we should get into it.
Yeah,
What's that?
it could've
I
been a
mean,
couple
City
more
of,
trains.
City of Toronto.
Oh, they got in big trouble,
Yeah.
for shutting down the trains.
And they sent
Yeah.
like a super condescending
home.
tweet about it
They
too.
did.
They did.
Oh, not
Yeah,
good.
Up late, transit won't wait. It's like, why not?
Probably should.
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was really nice. Like I'm just pictured walking onto that subway and what everybody would be feeling like, and like having that mass sadness. I'm like, I'm just gonna not do that.
Yeah.
So listen to a couple albums.
You feel better now?
I do, yeah, I do.
Not good.
Not like
Oh no, but like
listen.
sun came up,
That's what therapy is.
Can
You
I-
talk through things.
and he's often in therapy on our show.
That's what our show is.
I would say that I love you guys, and that like it means a lot to me that you guys have given me the platform to talk Jays, which I truly care about. And yeah, like being able to talk about with you guys, with the audience, it's awesome. So and I do love you guys. So thank
And
you.
a lot of people connected with that sentiment,
Yeah.
I think. So
Yeah. What other hockey stuff you guys want to talk about?
hockey stuff.
Habs again.
All right.
Can they please start losing a bit?
Yeah, the Habs
Another
are
late tying
yeah.
goal. They're just on fire.
I tell you what, it's going to be a dogfight, man, for playoff spots.
But in terms of playoff spots, I think we have 4 minutes left in our NHL hour. Need to shout out Matthew Schaefer and what he's
Oh
doing
my God, he's
with
so
the
good.
Islanders. Unbelievable. Scores 2 goals.
know.
He's got 5 already on the
Youngest
season.
ever
For
for
two-
multiple goals.
And, now we got a tweet. I'm sure you guys saw the one tweet of someone just being like, could this guy be
No.
on Team Canada's radar? And it's like, absolutely not. And then it's not 100% no.
It's close.
About radar.
You're having a conversation.
You just
But
have, depend, how
you-
long can you do this
But
for?
you also, yeah, exactly. You got to see it, what it looks like in the next 6 weeks. That's the window. The next 6 weeks is the window for him to be taken seriously
It's an insane thought.
on a spot.
It is. I mean, I'm just looking at the Eastern Conference standings, which the Islanders are involved in this. Every single team is either at or above 500.
Not a single team is below 500
Yeah.
in the East right now.
Yeah. Out
Which,
of- yeah.
by the way, Sam, I actually wanted to make this note, so I'm glad you brought it up. Let me pull up the standings here with you. I don't think any team has half of their game play total in regulation wins. So the leader in regulation wins in the entire conference has 8. Okay, so New Jersey is above the halfway mark, but pretty much everyone's below. Like the Leafs, how many regulation wins in 12 games? 4. And that goes the same for most of these teams. Like
4.
Montreal, 4 regulation wins in 12 games.
Yeah, you're just talking about with John-Michael Liles. They've lost 5 times in overtime or
Right.
shootout. Like, it's weird. A lot of overtime.
Tampa Bay, 4 regulation wins. All these teams that people are talking about how good they are. Detroit's played 13 games, 6 regulation wins.
Just one note on
It's crazy.
Matthew Schaefer
Mm.
here. is
Ottawa has 4 as
you-
well on 13.
If you're the Islanders, like I'm not even sure it's a great idea, for him to go.
Well, what's crazy is he can go
I'm
play
telling
the
you.
World Juniors.
This guy.
Imagine. Send him back.
You still have to be very careful with this guy. This guy will hit a wall.
Yeah.
And for some, you go like, oh, yeah, he's hit a wall. For some, it might not be as noticeable. He may be so good that when he does hit a wall or when he has that point in the season where it's not going well, he may be able to hide it a little bit more. But they all hit a certain point. It won't be this rosy for him either on or off the ice over the whole season. You gotta still want to protect this guy.
What a bounce on that.
Yeah, that
goal.
one was lucky. The other
Right.
one he ripped in.
And yeah, I mean, speaking of sports gods, I mean, he's getting some bounces and it's going well for him.
Can I ask, do you think that there would be any value in him being like a taxi squad guy for the Olympics? Like just going and being around those guys?
I do believe that they
He's clearly
do
a big part of the
consider that.
program
Yeah, they
going
do
forward.
consider that, and the maturity that he's shown certainly would lend itself to that.
And what
And
changed?
Celebrini too.
I was going to say, what changes things here is international competition is going to be a regular thing now. Every 2 years
That's
for the
what I mean.
next 10 are basically planned.
And guess who's a big part of it going forward?
It's going to be Schaefer, Celebrini, Bedard.
Yeah.
It's their team. It's
You
their
need it.
team.
So
In a
know,
few
should you
years, it'll be
start
their team.
getting their feet wet, or do you focus on just win this one and worry about the next one when the time comes? I kind of lean towards win each one the time it's up.
World Championships good for development.
It's not a development
Yeah,
situation.
the Olympics, maybe send the best.
Yeah.
That's the next heartbreak coming for Canada.
Oh my God.
Our
My
thanks
last one.
Tough day.
to John-Michael Liles. gave us a pretty good read into a very strong hockey club in Colorado.
Good.
Sammy,
Yep.
still got an hour to go, buddy.
I'm
and
good.
It's on your Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leaf Hour edition of our program is up next as the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Pittsburgh Penguins get set to battle tonight. Don't go away. There's a game day, and it ain't on the diamond. It's the Leaf Hour edition of the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. Yes, we will talk hockey. We promise. We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590 The Fan in Toronto, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. And if you miss our show, you can always catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Toronto Maple Leafs, coming off a convincing win.
Yeah, let's
that
just say,
guys tell me
let's
because
just tell everyone, if you want to hear our Jays thoughts, it's in the first hour, like a full half hour.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was 25 minutes of us.
Okay, so that's done.
But we may draw a few comparables between now and April.
Oh, I think that'll come up. I've already every time someone does it as well, I'm like,
Why can't
they
they
gave
be like the Leafs?
they gave Robertson a chance, and he's doing well in the top line. I'm like, this is their like Addison Barger, this is Ernie Clement, this is Nathan Lucas. They found someone, they just needed an opportunity.
My question
There you
is,
go. So we're not done.
My question is, do you think that the Jays shop will discount the World Series jerseys now? That they didn't win.
No.
No?
People are still proud to have those.
Yeah.
Man. I know that
I
might
still-
sound like
I would-
loser
I
talk.
still-
It's still
I
pretty
still, I still would like to get a World Series jersey, like with the little patch on there. I still would like to get that.
You
at
know,
some point.
my next door neighbor gave his like young daughter his cap from like the 93 one or
Sick.
whatever. And I was like, I would love to have a piece of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see why it's still.
Yeah.
Where do you guys want to start? I think we've been kind of looking for a convincing win
Yep.
for 60 minutes in regulation. This clearly was it Saturday night.
Yeah. So I wrote an article on sportsnet.ca. It's for everyone who's been paying attention to the Jays and wants to check in on the Leafs and get caught up. You want to be a Leafs fan again?
Send me that link.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Thanks, bro.
All the things that are going on. I think start with the big headline. Austin Matthews looked good. Skating downhill, 5-on-5, shot a puck past a goalie. That was really encouraging. And then on the other side of the coin, Chris Tanev took another significant hit to the head, stretchered off, and they'll lose him. So pros and cons.
Is that the biggest story here? I want to start with what stands out the most. Is it the fact that Chris Tanev is now back out of the lineup on IR, and what that does, or do you guys want to get into the? Let's just stick with Tanev right now.
Well, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that they looked like they did Saturday was the first time this year is a significant story for sure. But Tanev is obviously a guy that last year they counted on as their number one shutdown guy, near the league leading block shots.
I'll start the conversation. I'm nervous for him.
I totally agree. After the last one that happened, and having it, what was it, 10 days apart? Those two blows. I mean, that's pretty scary.
So, I did watch it multiple times. Incidental contact,
like the response, even though it wasn't.
Listen, it's a significant hit. I mean, everybody wants to kind of downplay it a little bit, but it was enough where you could get jarred, you could get twisted.
It's coming from that kind of backside angle.
And, when you watch him being stretchered off the ice, the focus was the neck, guys, the neck. So I'm hoping it isn't concussion related and more precautionary on the neck.
Mm-hmm. There was a good comparison made that I heard. I want to say it was Jonas Siegel, that reminding of the Jake Muzzin situation. Remember, he had a concussion, came back, and then shortly thereafter got another one. His ended up being spine related, if I recall. He never played another game. And not to say that that's what this is, but you worry anytime you have these things in tight succession, and you're more susceptible, with smaller hits, the more you have them. And he did have concussion issues earlier in his career. So yeah, it's a significant concern, right? I mean, 5 more years in his contract, obviously a human being here that we're concerned about too, but from the Leafs perspective, as a hockey perspective, you're going to see a lot of Philippe Myers now. And that ain't Chris Tanev. That's for a decor that's not been very good. That's
just
not good.
I mean, just on that though, you do have enough
NHL
veteran NHL guys where you should be able to color it off, but that's something that maybe
short term not a huge problem. You're in a
Long
playoff
term.
series, you go, ugh.
yeah, no, but that kind of, if this is going to be a thing, it's something maybe Brad has to look at.
The one thing that does scare me with Chris Tanev is the amount of physical abuse he's had the last little while.
Yeah.
And I said it before this injury that I thought Florida just pounded the piss out of the Leafs.
Alliteration.
And more specifically, the blue line. Now, I think it was in that Amazon where Mitch Marner or somebody on the bench said, our D are getting hammered. We got to go and hit their D. Something of that nature. And whoever it was, I think was specifically talking about the abuse that Chris Tanev took.
Well, I wrote an article that maybe wasn't specifically on that, but certainly included it about hits taken last year. And Chris Tanev took unbelievable amounts of contact last year because he's not a guy who throws hits. He's a guy who gets to the puck first, makes a small little play with the puck, and takes the hit, which is a very valuable skill and a courageous attribute, but certainly does add up. So, yeah, I mean, the Leafs are counting on this guy to be a shutdown guy they can count on.
Yeah.
But because of the way he plays.
And not just the way he plays, but the style of the Leafs defending. I don't know if it's harder on him in Toronto than it was in Calgary or Vancouver or Dallas, but it wasn't more.
Mm-hmm.
But at his age now, it is serious wear and tear on him. Yeah. And he's not 27 or 28.
Nope.
And something's going to have to give here, or else this guy is just going to keep getting hurt.
Yeah.
Something has to change with the amount of abuse that you had mentioned, or the way they just defend in general.
The thing that sucks about it is, it's not a traditional play for him where it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's too totally freak, like a little weird collision in front of the net that's head on head and then an incidental contact in the neutral zone. It's not like it was a guy who got the puck in on him and just ran him into the end boards and got him. It's two really weird, awkward collisions that have really caused this. So you hope it's, those other ones start looking a little more scary, but I don't know.
The one thing you can do is we talked about them not having an F3 and not being great against rushes. If you have guys back, you can slow up the forecheck a bit. You can cut offs. You can just run interference and help your D out. So it's certainly something they need to do more of. Do you want to hear Berube, his overview of the game, start from the top there, and we can start picking apart? Because to be honest, there's some real positives from this game.
Totally agree.
I think we should get to a few. Let's start with the overview.
I thought we were a little slow at the start, but got to our game. Way more direct tonight. I thought that our forecheck was really good. Our O-zone play was good. Just our PK was really good tonight. I thought we had a lot of people contributing tonight in the game, and our goalie was really good.
They gave up the first goal.
Yep.
Less than 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah, that wasn't great, but after that, kind of shut it down by and large. For the first time, I think, saw them hold the puck in the offensive zone a little bit more, carry some of the high danger stuff at 5-on-5. But hey, first thing I want to do is shout out, because I talked about at one point that Cowan didn't look physically ready or whatever. The last few games, I've changed my mind. It's a thing I do. I reserve the right to watch hockey, and he looks tenacious. He's making plays where other guys on this team don't see the ice like him. He can do it. I'm changing my mind. He can do it this year.
I think to my earlier point about Schaefer, there's going to be lulls. There's just going to be those areas, those windows where it's 3 or 5 games, or you got to pull him out of the lineup, or you got to back his minutes off. But he's going to have to go through that roller coaster. I think it's pretty clear here that he ain't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Right? They're just going to deal with whatever they need to do to hopefully progress his development without sending him to the Marlies or leaving long stretches where he's in the stands as a healthy scratch.
So something that Simmer said on the broadcast that really stuck with me, and something that I've noticed from him, is that, he's playing in the NHL for the first time. He's playing with a lot of really great players. And I think has deferred a lot and maybe passed in spots where he could shoot. And Simmer said on the broadcast, there's a instinctual play where you remember what you are, you get the puck and you shoot it. It felt like that was the first time where he kind of broke through something.
He shot one like that about 5 minutes prior in the game, and it's almost like that triggered oh yeah,
and
that's what I do.
I mean, I don't know if we have the clip of it or not. I didn't tell anybody to get it, but the reaction from Tavares on that is one that was able to warm my heart after the worst loss I've ever witnessed.
And I gotta tell you,
he's
Tavares
so
is
happy,
dude. He forechecked that puck. He tracked it down. He made a great play.
That's one of the best passes I've seen him make.
The two
off
of them,
the wall and into Cowan. That's what you want. I know those are hard passes to make, but that's the threat that I wish Tavares was more of.
Yeah, and listen, he made a pass out of his own end through his legs on the Robertson goal. Also, Cowan found Tavares. He walked it up top and went back across the grain, across the seam to Tavares' seam. I was like, geez, that's the first time I can remember Tavares and someone kind of having a little thing going since Marner was on his line 7 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, and the elephant in the room is that looks like Willie Nylander is going to play tonight, and Nick Robertson is not coming off the top line.
So let's
big elephant.
You guys want to hear Berube on Cowan or Robertson?
Cowan, let's do Cowan.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game tonight. Just the way he hung on the pucks and made plays and competed on the puck, and his stick details. He had a lot of good things tonight. He was a really good player tonight for us.
Hell of a game.
He's got an engine too.
I mean, that's Berube doesn't say anything.
You've heard me say that on a couple of players. He's got this motor, I think, that will keep him going.
Yeah,
and it's just
catch and shoot.
It's the youthful enthusiasm. It's just all of it. It's needed right now on a team that sometimes has difficulty finding some emotion.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Great, tracks it down for Tavares and fix his spot.
It's a great shot.
Wouldn't say that's the finest highlight clip for Drysdale.
No.
It's a great shot, though.
It's a great shot.
Right under the bar.
That's how you become one of the greatest scoring junior threats, in the last 100 years.
So I wrote my article today. If you're catching up on the Leafs, Cowan is a guy that looks like he could do it now. I said, I want to see him get some opportunity. And I said, I think he could be a guy that this year can get up to 40 points, 30, 40 point window. And I said, but for that to happen, he'll need to get on the power play. Morning skate today. Riley, Matthews, Cowan, Nylander, Tavares is the top unit. And he's the perfect fit. He can track down pucks on rebounds because he's tenacious. He can see the ice a little bit more. It's a big ask.
He passes
the puck and almost defaults to that sometimes. So I think it's a great fit. You put Nyes out there with Michelli, Domi, Robertson on the other one with OEL up top. Give him a run, man. And speaking of give him a run, Nick Robertson, who you mentioned, 5 points in his last 4 games. Since Craig Simpson came on this show.
Another Simmer shout out, but
Simmer came on here and said, if you're so afraid of him going somewhere and lighting it up, give him a chance. Just at least confirm that he can't do it.
To quote the great Eddie, just give me a chance.
Give him a chance. He's taking advantage.
Give me a chance.
And now, all right, let's get to Craig Berube on Nick Robertson.
I think, Robbie, it's effort, right? If you look back and before he scored that goal, he had 2 big blocks in our zone. Just his speed and his shot are dangerous, obviously, but his work ethic drives everything for me with him.
Now
he had good puck touches.
Now it's Robbie.
Robbie's in.
Didn't he always call him Robbie?
I don't know.
A lot of Nick,
I have no idea. That's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah,
maybe he's warming up to him because I don't think he's a.
Maybe we just didn't play Nick Robertson clips.
In the past, he's portrayed not being the biggest fan of Nick Robertson. You think he's warming up to him?
Shoot it in the net and win some games, right? They're 3-1 since Robertson's been there. I think that probably helps.
I think on a team that we've talked about in here multiple times that lacks maybe some jam, some energy, I think when you throw him over the boards, regardless of what you want to say about him, he's trying out there.
Yeah.
He looks like he's skating fast. He's trying to run into people. If the puck lands on his stick in the sweet spot, you know what can happen. So
You
You
just
get it.
wonder if he doesn't feel the desperation of like, I'm going to play 12 minutes. I have to get my goals right now. If he's playing more, if maybe he can make the odd pass too and look up a little bit and relax.
All right, some skill in Cowan and Robertson, and also Sammy Blaze.
You know, I like this guy way too much. I know he's been in the league. I know I've seen him play hockey before, but 2 games, 10 hits, goal, assist.
Oh, he's
You know,
yeah. That's the one that Berube remembered, I think, in St. Louis.
Yeah, he made a pass to Domi. He got a stretch pass from the D zone. He one-touched it out to the wall to Domi, who was streaking and hit Yarncroc backdoor. And it's like, that's a NHL one-touch to a streaking teammate. Like,
Yeah.
And his hits hurt guys. He's not doing Nick Robertson's actually 5th on the team in hits per game over the past 2 years. That's not the same hit as what Sammy Blaze doing. So I like him. Skates better than I thought he did.
So interesting. If you look at the lines there on your lineup, that they had McMahon not in the lineup tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They asked Berube about that at practice, and he said, "Nah, it's not for sure. Like I got to make some decisions tonight before
so right
the
now,
game
Blaze
starts."
is Domi and Yarncroc.
Yeah,
fourth
but
line.
I don't know what the decisions are. Maybe is it Nylander, but Nylander said he's good to go.
I think he's good to go.
So
Yeah, they'll probably take out Michelli.
Oh, do you think they will?
Yep.
Michelli, eh?
Yeah. I don't think he's getting his nose dirty enough. He's not getting into areas. He hasn't progressed like a Cowan or a Robertson right now.
Yeah.
And I think he needs a night off.
What's really fun for this group is, Lawton is coming back probably this week. Lorentz is coming back probably this week. Nylander's back tonight. Real competition to stay in the lineup. And you're going to see guys like Bobby McMahon come out. Now, McMahon has 0 points in his last 8 games. And that's in a spot where they've put him up at the top 2 lines and said, this is your opportunity. I compared it in business. There's something called the Peter Principle, where everyone gets promoted up to a job where they're over or underqualified for, and that's where they stay. They did that with McMahon, AHL, NHL. They kept promoting him. And that top line, it's pretty clear he's not that guy, is he? He's not a 19, 20-minute a night forward. So now you can say, okay, we can correct that, which you can't do in business, and say, put him back down.
These skilled guys,
that's interesting. Good parallel, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
Wherever they come from, and Michelli, you need power play, and that's where Cowan, they're hoping, will be another shot of confidence for him. But we said this even when we first heard about Michelli being traded. Where do you think Willie Nylander's coming off on a power play that you're going to go then and get some points here? You're going to have to score 15, 20 goals 5-on-5. And that ain't easy, right? You look at Austin, one of the best shooters in the world, and he just had his first 5-on-5 goal, did he not? Or
No, second.
second?
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard.
Yeah.
And he's been one of the best at it. I think he had his 300th Saturday night, which is the most in history. But he's battling hard still. I mean, it's hard for these guys to come in and produce if you're not getting power play time.
Well,
and Robertson's battled too, and he's been managing 15 goals.
Do you want to hear what Berube has to say about McMahon? Because he talked about McMahon today at the morning skate, if you want to hear it. Or do you care?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do care.
Okay, let's go to clip 8, please.
Well, for me, from Bobby, like I saw early on, I saw the player I wanted to see. I thought he was very aggressive. He was physical, winning his battles and doing things like that and getting scoring opportunities. I thought it's dipped off a little bit. So it's just about a mindset for me with him. He's playing a little too safe at times, and he needs to play more aggressively and do what we need to what we need out of him.
What's hard for McMahon is Berube has a clear picture of what he wants him to be, and then McMahon has a clear picture of what he's been, and they don't jive.
So the one thing
100%.
every time I think about McMahon is I go earlier, few years ago, to what he was before he came in to the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And you knew him through your days, right?
No, he just played college hockey, and I'm
Okay.
familiar. I've read some stuff. That's all. Yep.
But the player that Berube's trying to turn him into it doesn't come naturally to him is the one thing that I think you have stressed on our show.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get any levels of consistency because sometimes guys are really good of getting out what you're asking for at the time.
Yeah.
But when you don't pay attention to me, then I'm taking my foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah.
And that's what happens to McMahon.
Hmm.
He has all the tools to go out and be this straight line, hard forechecker, lean on guys, break to the net, have two guys hanging over him and be a mule to get there.
Yeah.
But doesn't want to do it all the time.
Yeah. I think it's clear that it's there for him and it's not who he naturally is. And so I do think that that's a tough contrast. What really stinks for him is when you have a coach that decides, the line in The Departed where he's like, there's guys who can be hit and there's guys who can't be hit.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's not quite a guy who can't be hit. That's Bobby McMahon, but with scratches. It's like, this is a guy that Berube has said, you can scratch him.
Yeah.
There's guys that are off limits. There's guys that we won't do it to. Bobby McMahon is unfortunately one of the guys eligible to be a whipping boy here for Berube. And he's just going to ride that roller coaster all year long. Keep the pedal down, to your point, Kip, or he's going to get the whipping. I don't know who else in this roster takes it like him. I don't think there's another name.
Robertson's been in and out.
Robertson does. But, yeah, Robertson's almost exclusively getting the whip. No, all stick, no carrots for him.
Yeah.
McMahon at least gets some opportunity. But yeah.
In the back half of our show, Jody Shelley will join us, former National Hockey Leaguer, in town to call the Leaf Pen game on Amazon. In terms of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Did you want to talk about camp before we get to that, or?
Yes, I do. Okay, before we get into Pittsburgh, and we will with Jody Shelley, David Kampf has left the Toronto Maple Leafs. I didn't watch Saturday night. I was doing something else. Did Elliott speak of Kampf on headlines?
Yeah, he did. He spoke of him on headlines. There's a tweet, like a radio quote of someone talking about how the Leafs were still shopping Kampf and Robertson or something to that effect. And I retweeted it and basically said, I just don't understand the Kampf thing. This guy is an NHL center, good face-off man, PK. I think he's a hockey player. And then it was made clear from Elliott that Kampf has left the team.
And they've suspended him without pay.
Yeah, I think that's voluntary
it's
in his case. I think he left.
He did, but I think he's on notice that he's being suspended without pay.
Yeah.
And that makes no sense to me for a guy that's making $2.5 million and $2.5 million next year.
Yeah.
Now the Leafs aren't paying him, and I suppose the next move on his part is to have his contract terminated.
That's the talk, is that he is considering
giving up $4 million.
Yeah, it's 2-4 this year and next. He's considering walking away from that. So
you assume that he's got a little bit of money off this year, and then there's signing bonuses too. I'm sure that's involved in his last deal.
Sure.
The Leafs could ask for some of that back. It's like crazy.
So
why would you do that?
Well, here's I think a very important question. If you think that being in the American Hockey League at age, 31 or something like that, for the next 2 years, voids your chances of getting NHL contracts after that.
Stay there. He's not staying there for 2 years.
You
something.
think if he just,
I agree with you. He's a serviceable player.
Yeah.
There's going to be a trade between now, March, off season, draft, free agency, July 1st. There's going to be a window where the Leafs are going to do something, and the team may say, take 50% of a contract, and they're like, no, we'll give you Kampf. Like, there's going to be opportunities for him.
Yeah.
Don't give up the cash, buddy.
Yeah. I think part of what happened here with Kampf and them was a misunderstanding, miscommunication, or just straight up not telling the guy.
Terminated,
I think he thought that he was getting called back up and not that he was getting
which is fine. He's not. Okay, but you're going to give up $3.5 million to be terminated on the chance
I'm not.
that another team signs you for $950.
Yeah.
You ain't getting 2.5.
Yeah.
You ain't getting 2. You're not even getting 1.5.
He must be really mad.
Yeah.
Like,
I do think that he thought it was like they're going to move some people, whether
And they
Young
tried.
Croc or Robertson,
They
and then
tried.
he'd be back and everything would
They did
be
try.
hunky-dory again. And then I think
And it's not out there.
he was getting increasingly upset.
So you stay patient and you wait. And we thought with Scott Lawton hurt that he would have been called up. They chose not to. But a couple of injuries, and maybe you would have found yourself back up. You don't know. But I don't get this.
I got to tell you,
Take your net and go home.
I'm inclined to agree with you here that there's nothing to be gained from
Nothing.
picking up your stuff and leaving. Whether, whatever you think happened, this is just kind of play well enough and they'd keep you. If you were so good, they wouldn't let you go, right? So play a little better, hang around.
I do think, though, he's gotten a pretty raw deal.
Some bad luck with the roster situation, the salary cap situation.
Suck it up. We all
But
had
you're
raw
not-
deals at some point from teams. Suck it up.
I don't.
Yeah, but he's
Skip's
not gonna,
right.
But the thing is, it's like, to your point of play better, he's never going to go out there and like start firing him under the bar.
No,
He has a pretty boring style of play that, like, if the coach
I have
just
a very particular set of skills.
it's like
He's a natural
Paul
centerman.
Jackson.
Too particular.
He's a natural centerman, and he can kill penalties.
Yeah.
There's 32
But you know what
teams. There's got to be somebody that's going to
like
need
Vancouver
him.
couldn't use him. They're hanging on by a thread.
I know.
Like,
But you know what he doesn't have, and Berube, I think, really requires is a pulse. That like competitive punch guy in the face, frustration. I think Berube just said we don't.
Did you watch their first 10 games? There was a few guys that were
No
wondering
pulse.
about a pulse.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think the coach has not enjoyed that.
Before we move on, Real Kyper and Bourne are playing in the Eric Lindros Celebrity Classic in support of Easter Seals Ontario. Nick and Justin, along with other Sportsnet personalities, will be taking to the ice to raise money for this great cause. You can support our team by fundraising by scanning this QR code on your screen right now if you're watching on Sportsnet Plus, Sportsnet YouTube. Kyper said that we're in last.
Yeah.
He's one of the most competitive people I've ever met in my life.
I don't like being in the
And-
bottom of a.
And
It's not great.
No, it's not good.
so he's going to come out.
Anything
He's going
will
to come
help.
out and fight our listeners. So
$1 would help.
yeah,
And
So-
honestly, the cause is
Fantastic.
amazing. This is
Yes.
a fantastic event. Get your tax receipt.
yeah. Just donate to us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't played hockey. The Blue Jays. I haven't played hockey in 3 weeks. So
Oh yeah, you're actually for once you're out of.
I'm out of shape. I'm going Thursday morning to my usual
Hey,
10:01 to get warmed up. But
your
we
next-
saw-
you'll be worse the next day for it.
We saw
Yeah.
Ernie Clement's hockey go viral,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
High school hockey
Yeah.
days go viral.
Yeah.
Like maybe we'll get him on the team by Friday.
yeah. I don't think so. He's Cancuned up for sure.
No.
God,
He's ready to
hit
give
it right
more.
to the track there.
Andy Pahez, I'll never forgive you.
That
Yeah.
guy can't hit a baseball, but he
No,
sure
but
did
boy,
catch
can
that
he
one.
range.
Game time.
Yeah, let's do game time. It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So now that I don't get to talk about the Blue Jays anymore, I got to we're talking about hockey now. The Leafs tonight, I forget what the numbers are for Sidney Crosby against the Leafs, but it is complete and utter ownership.
Yeah.
As most stars who were really good during the 2010s, they really lit up some crappy Leafs teams. So a lot of them have a lot of good success, but particularly Sid. Give me a Sidney Crosby anytime goal tonight at plus 160. He's leading their team in goals right. He's red hot. He loves to play against the Leafs. So give me a Sid goal tonight for sure. And the Leafs are pretty big favorites tonight. What do you think the line is for the Leafs tonight?
They should be plus 160.
Who, the Leafs?
Yeah.
Like they should be the underdog?
Oh, sorry, minus 160.
They are minus 185 tonight on home ice against the Pittsburgh Penguins, plus 155 on the other side of the money line. Edmonton in St. Louis to take on the Blues. They're minus 130 favorites. Vancouver in Nashville taking on the Predators, plus 100. And Seattle taking on the Blackhawks at home, plus 130 on the money line for the Blackhawks, minus 155 for the Seattle Kraken. So there you go. That was game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. That's 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
This is a big game for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I actually agree with
Oh, no. I'm telling you right now, with now the Blue Jays done, people are going to just jump right in. They've given themselves a little bit of wiggle room Saturday night to follow it up with another good game, convincing game that they're heading in the right direction. A loss puts them right back where they were before the Philly game.
And let's talk about all that next with Jody Shelley.
You heard the man.
Bye-bye.
As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, closing out right into tonight's action. 4 games, guys. Sammy?
4 games on tap, I believe. Pittsburgh, Toronto, Edmonton, St. Louis, Vancouver, Nashville, and Chicago and Seattle.
Our next guest will focus on the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Pittsburgh Penguins, covering tonight for Amazon. Let's welcome in Jody Shelley. Hey, buddy. Okay.
Hi, guys.
You are forbidden to talk baseball because all our hockey fans have, I think, left the last 3 weeks.
I don't want to talk baseball. It's just, let's move on.
Okay. So let's move on to, if, unlikely scenarios like we saw on the weekend continue, then Pittsburgh will make the playoffs this year. Like, what is going on here? Jody, we had them destined as a team that was going to be in the sweepstakes for a top young player to take over for Sidney Crosby in this McKenna, and it's not happening. Why?
You know what? I think they found a little bit what Washington found a couple of years ago around Ovechkin, where they put some youth, some speed, a new voice in Dan Muse, and they're having a lot of fun. I was in the locker room today. I mean, that Kindle kid, he didn't have on his bingo card to make the Pittsburgh Penguins this year. And he's looking around the room. He's got Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and he's a part of the power play with these guys. And he's just brought this great youthful enthusiasm into that locker room. And they've got a really interesting group of superstar players who've been around a long time that have now been rejuvenated by the combination of the voice of Dan Muse, his preparation. He includes them in some of the preparation. And when you have young guys make the team and impact the way they have and key ingredients on lines that, rust is important to Crosby, and Malkin has found a couple big boys with him, and Mantha and Brazeau, who I don't think is playing tonight. But I can say whatever I want, Kyper. It's goaltending. It's the goaltending is shored up a little bit. You look at any team around the league, you can plan and do whatever you want. If you don't have a goaltender that's helping you stay in games and helping you steal games, or at least keeping you where you want to be throughout the game to execute your game plan, then you can do whatever you want. And they're playing well in front of them, but Jari has rejuvenated himself, and Shilos has been a bright spot. So it's no one saw it coming, but I think a couple of years ago we were wondering about the Capitals the same way, and they turned themselves into a more of a team game, and it's been buy-in from everyone.
So do you think it's an aberration? Like, do we think that, okay, they got great saves early on and everything's going right, maybe Malkin falls off, the goaltending changes. Do you think they're going to be there at the end of the year?
I think if they stay healthy, they can.
Really?
I think they have enough pieces and enough skill. I mean, you look at Erik Karlsson. He went there, and he was a terrible fit. We all were sitting back waiting to see that power play just be a highlight reel every single night, and it just didn't work. And now he's kind of found his simple game. I think if they can stay healthy, I think they can have an impact. Those players like Crosby, and again, talking to Kindle, and just him being around anybody that's around Sidney Crosby, whether it's for 2 minutes, 2 days, 2 hours, I don't care. There is an impact of how hard he prepares and what the expectations are. And I think that is something that's a luxury in itself. So I would not count them out if they can stay healthy.
You're watching and listening to Jody Shelley, former National Hockey Leaguer, analyst for Prime Amazon, covering the Toronto Maple Leafs, Pittsburgh Penguins tonight, nationally. Nationally.
Yeah.
Jody, Malkin was supposed to be this guy that was like 1 foot into retirement based on last season. And he's put himself in a position now to be a key contributor here to their start. And I mean, how surprised are you so far out of it? And whether or not this guy's got any more jam to like continue after this season, or is this still a feeling like he's done one way or another, like a Kopitar?
I don't sense that being around him today and watching him play hockey. Malkin's a player that likes to get the puck with speed so he can pick through players. And I think there was a lot of times where he would arrive in the last couple of years and not have that chemistry with whoever he was playing with. And then they got in a situation where they were forcing plays, but now it looks like he's just playing hockey. He's reading off his line mates. He understands their size. Mantha has good enough hands to get him the puck at certain times. You watch him, if he's moving and gets the puck, you can't stop him because he's got the range. He's got the base with his legs. He's got the skill to make the move. He makes the quick play. And the way those three are playing, plus the defense involved, I just see him playing hockey. So when I see a player like that with that kind of pedigree, he's healthy and being able to play the game the way he wants to, I don't know why you would ever stop. I think that there's a kind of a refreshment in Malkin's game, and he needs the line mates around him. And I think that's why we're seeing this. I don't know if he's going to retire, but here we are a dozen games into the season, and we're talking about Malkin and Crosby leading their team and leading the way, and this team being one of the tops in the National Hockey League. It's great for them, but it's even more exciting in that locker room. I really am impressed and got a really good sense of just kind of the spirit of what they have going on right now. And, when you see an athlete at that stage in their career having that much fun, I think it puts doubt in his mind as to whether he should hang him up or not.
Well, and it's curious because you're looking at Pittsburgh, they're having great success, and you're saying they're doing it on the backs of these superstars, their most important people. They're going up against the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, and tonight, like Matthews scores last game, he's 12 games into the year, he's got 9 points. This is for a guy who's had multiple 100-plus point seasons, won a Hart Trophy. Is it a vibes thing where just Pittsburgh has a good vibe going and that kind of helps everyone out? Because Toronto still seems to be kind of searching for their own good vibes right now.
You know what? It's interesting because I remember watching Sid a couple of years ago, and they were searching for line mates for him. Remember, Russ was hurt, and he had Gensel was gone, and you could see in Sid's game there was times where he would take the long change, and that kind of frustration was grown over him, where it was like he's trying to make the play, he makes the play to someone else, the puck ends up out of the zone, he's back checking. It's a waste of a shift almost, where I feel like with Austin, Marner's good. That's a big adjustment for him to lose Mitch Marner and the times that he had him on the ice to carry the puck. And Matthews is a centerman, and centermen generally are puck distributors, not just the shooters. And you need to have a guy that can draw the attention, find and get to the dirty areas so he can find that kind of soft spot that he's scored all those goals from. He's going through a major adjustment. And I think, of course, Nyes is back on his line tonight. Robertson's up there who has potential, but he can't try to be Mitch Marner. But there's an element of Austin Matthews, which I think is just a little bit off. I wouldn't call him heartbroken, but I think it's just like, geez, he's missing a dynamic spark that he's going to have to find himself. I think there's a part of his game that he's going to have to adjust, like we've seen other superstars. I think even McKinnon went through it last year when Nate just wasn't really settled in there, and he lost Rantanen. That dynamic duo. There's a lot that goes into that from both parts of it. But when you lose it, the adjustment period, it doesn't need to be an adjustment period. It needs to be a realization that you have to change your game a little bit, not just score goals from that dead area. And also not just play defense as a defensive centerman. He's a dynamic guy that can break over the game. He's just not in that gear yet. That's what I'm seeing.
One of the bright spots early has been John Tavares and the ability still to score points, get goals. He looks like he's on his way to another solid season, whether that ends up being around his average of 80 points a year. But it's a good sign early, and a lot of Leaf fans really excited, and especially our Sammy here, that it's a fraction of the cost of the $11 million they've been paying for in the past.
You know what? It's you're lucky to have John Tavares. I mean, it's a lot to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. I've never been a Maple Leaf, but I've always been a guy that's come into this market, and you feel the pressure on these players, but you also see what comes with being a Toronto Maple Leaf. There's a lot of great that comes being a member of anyone that's been a member of this team. And I know a lot of players that have played here, and they love it. They love the way they're treated. They love the way the locker room is. They love the way it's a special and a different vibe. And I think John Tavares, being a local guy and wanting to be here and wanting to bring a Stanley Cup, I mean, his passion and the way he works at his game and the way he understands everyone's always watching him. It's one of those athletes that you see come around once in a while, and his value will be tremendous while he's here. But when he's gone, he will affect other players in a positive way, because even watching him today at practice, taking face-offs, working on his stride, working on little parts of the game, getting out there early and working at it. He's a guy that wants to do right and wants these headlines and everything to be talked about in a positive way and get things turned around. And I think that's the real, I guess, the temperature teller for Craig Berube is John Tavares. He knows he doesn't have to worry about John's effort, what he's going to do in the defensive zone, how he's going to be responsible. And it's good for the young kids they have, or some of the young kids they have here. And I think that, that's an important piece here, and it's good that he's having success, because his voice it will always be loud, but it's even a little louder and even a little more impressionable when he plays that way. And we've all played with guys like that, where it's just like, you always have the guy in the locker room that you can always look at and wonder if things are going right, or if how you should act, or what you're thinking in a situation. It's good to see him having that success, but I think his value is still so high with the media and with everything that goes on with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
For sure. Jody, last one for me. Just wanted to get your thoughts on playing on a team where there's internal competition. Right now, the Leafs have added Sammy Blais. Robertson wants to be in, and Michelli might come out, and McMahon might come out, Lorentz, Lawton. They have all these depth guys, and they're fighting for not that many spots. We always hear that it's a positive. Have you felt that that's something that's good for the team typically?
It's hard when you're the guy on the fourth line. They'll tell you that's just trying to stay in the lineup,
Yeah.
But it is really good. It keeps you sharp. I mean, it's something that, I played 12 years. I had to battle for every day of practice and every day in the game. And I knew there was always someone that could take that spot in my lineup. So I would leave the rink and shut it off briefly. But then, I would be in conversations or at dinners, but my engine was still turning about, okay, like you got to be ready for whatever's to come the next day. And I always like competition within the lineup to a certain point for the top end guys on power plays and minutes, because once the wrong guy gets put in a situation where the whole team knows he should be there, then it affects the whole team. There's a trickle down effect with that. So I think they're the consistency, not to just keep those guys happy, but to let them work through some things. I think that's important for a team dynamic in those situations, for sure.
One more, Jody, and we know during your telecast you won't get Chris Tanev tonight to call during the hockey game. We all saw him get carted off on a stretcher here. We know how important he is to the Toronto Maple Leafs. He'll be turning 36, I think, in a little over a month here. This is the second injury we've seen. We know he's been a battler his whole career. There's a lot of wear and tear here. How concerned should Leaf fans be about Chris Tanev moving forward here?
Well, I just think right now we're all really concerned, because that was a scary hit for a guy who surprisingly made it most of the way through the season last year healthy, and that's his value. If he's out, that's a major loss. That is something that is hard to replace around the National Hockey League as well, because defensively, I mean, we show some packages of him blocking shots and playing through pain, and he always seems like he's got something going on. But he's just one of those guys that the opposition knows is hard to play against and makes your night miserable, because he has a certain level of frustration he can bring. So if he's out, that's something that, I think that is a major hole for this team, especially looking at their defense. He's the one, to me, that brings an element of kind of intellectual jam, if you will, where it's always just positional and brings guys into the fight. And there's no dodging, blocking a shot, or putting yourself in a situation where it's team first when you see a guy like that doing it. So that's something that's extremely valuable here.
Jody, great stuff, man. Have a great call
right,
tonight,
guys.
Okay?
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for your time,
it.
man. Appreciate it.
Former National Hockey Leaguer, now analyst on Amazon, Jody Shelley.
He talked about fighting for his ice time in 3 straight seasons for the Columbus Blue Jackets. 206 PIMs in 52 games, 249 in 68, and 228 in 76 games in 3 straight seasons.
Tough.
Yeah, that's doing it.
Just really genuinely tough.
Yes.
You know, talking about guys who are like bluffers or they do it because they have to. That was never him, boy.
And in 96, 97 with the Halifax Mooseheads, in 59 games, 25 goals, 19 assists, 420 PIMs. How is there enough ice time?
Just fighting a guy with one hand while you're scoring with the other.
420 is crazy.
Bonkers.
So the Toronto Maple Leafs right back at it tonight. If I'm not mistaken, this is a 4-game homestand.
For the Leafs?
Yeah, all they do is play at home. They never leave.
It's really weird.
It is.
It is really
Not
weird.
going to help them later in the year, but
That flip side's going to hit.
So tell me what they need to go to, what record they need when this homestand is over.
it's a curious schedule.
It's Pittsburgh, Mammoth, Boston, who?
Hurricanes.
Yeah. 2-2.
That one feels like an L.
2-2 for me.
No, it's not going to cut it, though.
No.
I think
I think 3 out of 4, or else people are going to start.
Oh, you're asking me what I think they're going to do, or what I want them to do?
Yeah, well, what they need.
3-1. They need 3-1.
Prove that this thing's going to move forward, and we are in November, by the way.
I think
The hot month?
Yeah, the hot month has to start on this homestand.
the weather outside today, boy, you could have fooled me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the nice thing about the Jays losing. At least the weather's uplifting. It only gets dark at 4:30 p.m. Yeah, I think.
We needed that hour that night, though.
Yeah,
At our house, anyway.
I think you would hope that they win the first 3, and the loss would be in the back-to-back to Carolina, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the vibes are pretty decent right now. I feel like they played their best game of the season against Philly. It would be great to see a good show against Pittsburgh. Utah's been playing well. That's going to be a good game. And then the Bruins. That's a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday schedule. Oh, and then Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday night. Yeah,
Lots of hockey.
Yeah, busy week. Good
Yeah.
distraction.
Yeah, so it goes Pittsburgh, Utah, Boston, Carolina, Boston.
And they'll have Lorentz back by Wednesday. They'll have Lawton back by Wednesday, I believe. They're going to have to make some decisions. Yarncroc just keeps shooting it in the net and getting scratched. He's like killing penalties when he's out there. Pretty good player to not play sometimes. So some tough decisions to be made. And then curious to see what they do with backup goaltending. Joseph Woll presumably not ready. Haven't heard any updates on that.
Has he talked yet?
No. Tree Living did say he would talk when he's ready to talk. So I assume we're going to get Caden Primo on Sunday, which means we're going to get 3 games in 6 days here, or 4 and 8 from Stolars. Is that too much, Kip?
Yep.
I'll tell you after tonight.
Maybe
if it's too much or not.
Maybe Wednesday night is another backup start against Utah.
Oh boy,
they're flying around.
We might see Hildeby.
buddy. Listen,
I would prefer that.
Take a look at what's happening here. I mean, there's some transitions going right around the league in divisions, and I'm looking at the Atlantic right now, and I'm like, I don't know how Montreal, Detroit, and Tampa's going to end up, but like if it was February, March, I wouldn't be as surprised if those 3 teams kind of hang in there.
You wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised
Montreal
at this
and Detroit
point.
stay there, yeah.
Yeah.
By goal differential, it's weird. Montreal is +8, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Detroit's only +3 at 9-4.
Tampa, take
They're
a
hot.
look. Five wins
5
in a row.
straight wins
They're
for
hot.
Tampa to get
Right?
to 6-4.
I got to tell you, that
+2.
that Gensel's a gamer.
He is.
Terrifying the Olympics.
Can the Leafs get on a little bit of a heater starting tonight?
Please, I need it.
Yes.
1 win and they'd be in 3rd in
Yes,
the division.
make Sammy forget all about his Blue Jay woes.
Never.
Never.
Well, I
Listen
feel
to that stuff in the first
never.
hour, will
I
you,
feel
if you missed
so
it?
much better, though.
Our thanks to Jody Shelley, and in the first hour, John-Michael Liles. All right.
Valley tomorrow. And we're back to our normal time, 4 to 6 p.m.
4 to
Six
6
tomorrow.
4 to
p.m.
6
Eastern.
p.m. Eastern.
From now on.
Have a great night, everybody.